So we have some business to talk about today. Bill resigned as chair, and it sounds like John does not want to hold the office either. And so that's going to be number one topic. In the interim, we can, well, I'm really not sure how to proceed. If we don't have someone taking over and Bill resigned, John, you're the co-chair at this point.
Yeah, I'll go ahead. I'll go ahead and do it today.
Yeah, thank you. I'm sharing our screen here to show the agenda. I've sent it out via email. Can you see that?
Yes.
Let me actually.
Do you need it zoomed in, Bill?
No, I can see it. I got the email.
I did too. Did anyone not get the email?
Can we do roll call so we know who's here?
Yeah,
Sure.
We'll need to call it to order and then do roll call.
Okay, let's call the meeting to order. This is the June 21st, 2021 meeting of the Airport Development and Operating Committee. This is John Arnold, the co-chair. It's 1 p.m. Let's have a roll call. Not being able to see people on the screen, I'll just call people's name out and answer here or present. Bill?
Present.
Dale?
Present.
Stuart? Stuart, are you around? I saw your face earlier. Okay, Ted Mapili?
Here.
Sarah Bisson?
Here.
And Sarah Logan is on the call still.
Yeah, she's the city clerk, so she is on all of these Zoom calls. Stuart, you are
Stuart?
muted.
Stuart, are you with us? I can't see the screen.
Yes, he is with us. Let me see if I can help him. I don't know if you can see here.
No, on my iPad, I only see you, Sarah. I don't see any of the others.
Okay, well, you may not be able to because I'm screen sharing. I'm not quite sure how all of that works. Stuart, I don't know if perhaps you don't have the microphone working. It does not look like you are muted at this point on our end.
Stuart, if you can hear us, would you wave?
And you can join us via phone. The phone number is provided on the agenda.
Okay, let's go ahead. Can we get approval of the agenda? Since I can't see anyone's faces, since we have the agenda up, let's do a quick verbal again. Bill, approve.
Approve.
Dale.
Here.
Ted.
Approve.
Sarah.
Approve.
John Arnold approves. Stuart, if you can see us or hear us, wave and approve the agenda. Okay, we have a majority approval of the agenda. Is that sufficient, Sarah?
Yes.
All right. First item on the agenda is public comment. Have we received anything?
No, not to my knowledge.
Okay. I will move beyond that. We'll go into discussion now. The first item on the agenda is the project update, obstruction removal, airport improvement plan funding. The four items are obstruction removal, design, hangar development, signage, and airport access. Sarah, I'm assuming that this is your.
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
You have the
So
floor.
we have, We have wrapped up the final bit of the, environmental assessment. I'm working with FAA to further close out the grant for the environmental assessment of the obstruction removal. We have, as some people have participated from the committee in scoring for an architect and engineer for our upcoming 5-year projects, which Century West was selected. The second phase was the actual design of obstruction removal, which Century West has begun working on, and the estimated cost of that is $212,634, of which FAA has approved the grant award. They are not requiring match this year, so WSDOT will not be putting in 5%, and the city is not required to put in 5%. So that essentially saves us $10,500, potentially $21,000 if WSDOT didn't put in their share. So that's good news. It's anticipated that Century West will take approximately 1 year to complete the design, and for the next grant application, that is when the actual construction would move forward. There were several hoops for Century West to jump through in order to include that all on one grant and one shot. So that is what they recommended, that we move forward with design and then we move forward with construction, which will be the actual obstruction removal. We have had 2 gentlemen attend our meetings in the past, a gentleman by the name of Patrick Welburn and a gentleman by the name of Jerry Divis, and they are both interested in hangar development. In hangar development, there are some requirements that FAA has not required in the past for any development done on the airport. This includes a KTEX, which is a category environmental exclusion, and it is a form that has to be filled out along with any environmental concerns in the surrounding area, and this would be in regards to the area in which we have discussed hangar development. So near the existing hangars to the west of the ditch there. So FAA requires that we provide the KTEX, then a 7460 inspection for hangar designs, and a pen and ink change to the ALP. So that is the next project included on Century West's architect and engineering contract, aside from the obstruction removal design. That is a $10,000 ticket item.
That's the inspection is,
Okay.
or the CPEX?
The KTEX, CATEX, CATEX, KTEX.
Okay.
That's also the 7460 inspection for both hangars, and the ALP pen and ink change. Now, I was slightly alarmed when I saw that sticker price, and I reached out to FAA because every time we have hangar development, this KTEX has to be provided. So I said, you know, it really is not cost effective to the city to do this for 2 hangars when we potentially could have other builds in that area. And I asked them, can I include the entire hangar development area, you know,
Yes.
the surrounding vicinity of the hangars under this, so that way moving forward, we don't have that additional cost should we have interest in other hangars? And they said yes. So Century West will be working on that. That is in regard to hangar development. I anticipate that the 7460 portion will be complete by Century West. They've already finished the CATEX checklist. The 7460 should be completed by the end of the month, along with the pen and ink changes. And then it takes FAA 4 to 6 weeks to review the 7460 inspection. I anticipate that potentially hangar development for both gentlemen should begin by mid-August or the end of August, as long as their designs, as long as the building department and then their developers can fit it within that time. But at least through the FAA process, that's when I anticipate it being approved.
Sarah, the pen and ink, can you elaborate a bit on that? What does that include?
Yes, I can. So as we have further discussed in other meetings, the ALP kind of willy-nilly puts hangars in specific areas as they defined in 2009. They thought perhaps that's where we were going to throw these hangars. This committee has discussed keeping all of the hangars in a row, first to cut down on utility costs for those people developing, and also for aesthetic purposes. So if you look at the ALP, we have some proposed hangars over on the south little jaunt of fencing, and then others in the middle of that field. We don't have the infrastructure to support everyone coming and going from the middle of that hangar development area, especially with the ditch there, the culverts. So it would be now, instead of having a fourth hangar kind of tucked away in the corner, they're going to all be in a row. So it will be the 3 that are developed, and then the 4th and 5th adjacent to those properties, adjacent to those hangars. And the ALP has to just reflect that we are proposing that those buildings are moving a little bit instead of being lined along the fence and in the middle of that area. So that's, do you guys have any questions in regard to that?
Just one, one quick one. How close to the south fence property lines does that last hangar come?
That is something, well, it's going to have to be within the easements, and I believe it's a 5-foot easement, but unfortunately, I can't tell you at this moment without seeing it drawn out, and I don't have that as of yet. But I have been assured that they will both fit there with the correct easements. There was something else I was going to say in regard to that. I am also working on getting those lots surveyed. I haven't gotten any firm answer yet, but the reason why is Patrick Welburn says he has to have a defined lot for development. And I want to ensure that the hangars that we have now are accurately depicted in the contracts, including easements and everything of that nature in those land leases. So I've gotten the okay from city administration to move forward on that. I have further discussed it with Century West, and I don't know if we don't actually have to like document as far as platting it with the county or anything of that nature, but I think for posterity purposes, we need to have those measurements on file. So we may not need an actual land surveyor, and that's something I've been discussing with Century West. So moving on from hangar development, I wanted to discuss, go ahead.
Let's hold a second. Is everyone okay with that? Bill and Dale, Ted?
Yep,
Yeah, Bill's fine.
that's fine.
Okay. And do we have Stuart on yet? You're
Got
okay.
a thumbs up.
I see a thumb up. Okay, thank you. Go ahead, Sarah, please.
Okay, so signage. There are some, and forgive me if I'm incorrect, Bill, I'm not sure what to call these signs, but the signage that depicts runway 15 and 33 is also directional signage, for lack of a better term, for pilots. Like the A33, that sign was knocked over at the airport. A mower hit it and it knocked it over. And I can't quite recall what that's for. It's your positioning, is that correct, Bill? When you're flying out?
Well, yeah, it's just it's a directional sign to get you to the runway. So I think it's an FAA required sign. I think any pilot that's in there can find his way to the runway. So, but I think the FAA requires a sign. It probably got knocked over because they have to be frangible. They have to, that you can't have a solid 4x4 post. It's got to break off quick enough so it doesn't cause additional damage to an aircraft. So.
Is it possible
Yes,
that
so-
do we need to increase the area of the concrete that the sign goes in so the mower can't easily hit it?
I don't even
I
think it's
don't
in
know if there is
concrete.
concrete there.
Oh, it isn't even in. Okay.
Sarah, do we still have the sign?
Yes, maintenance has gotten the sign repaired. What I am working on now is trying to find the correct couplings to attach the sign back. So when I went and looked at frangible posts, given the dimensions that John Wagner gave me, it's 2-inch pipe couplings, and they're 4 inches tall. There are several options. So I need to take a picture of what's there so I can compare it to what is online.
I don't
Because I'm
think
not
there's
quite
anything, Sarah, I don't think there's anything there as far as a coupling. I think the frangible part of it was that the post was just sawed through, so it was only 1.5 inches in diameter in the middle. So
Yeah, so
instead
it
of
could
it
be
being a 4x4, I think the posts is, I don't think there's any special frangible coupling or anything. It's just a 4x4.
There is,
that's been
those are
welded.
metal. These ones are metal.
Well, I know the ones you're looking at are metal, but I don't
Okay.
think the sign at the airport was installed on a metal frangible coupling. I think the 4x4 was just weakened. It was?
No, there was another sign. I'm going to get to the sign on 4x4s. The one, I do have a picture of it. It was absolutely attached by metal pipe that was sawed through.
Okay. When, Sarah, just for further, when something like this happens at the airport, if an email could be sent out to the committee members showing what happened and all that. A lot of times in my travels, I'm in a hardware store and I can pick one of those up and just take care of it for you without it being down.
Okay, well, I was looking at frangible couplings because this is what John had asked me to order. So I can certainly send you a picture of the signage and you can see along with the measurements, but I was looking online at the sign store that sells these specifically for airports. And honestly, without the parts, I really don't know what I'm ordering. So I will forward that out to the committee.
Okay, and I'll be back in town.
But there was
on
another.
Wednesday. So this is Bill. I'll be back in town on Wednesday, so I'll go out and look at the one that's still there and see what's going on there.
So which one got knocked down, the 33 or the 15 sign?
The A3, it says A3, it's a black and white sign.
All right, okay, so it's a
Okay,
taxiway.
I know what, yeah.
Yeah,
Okay, that's
right.
direction to taxiway Alpha from intersection number 3.
right.
All right.
Thank you. And the other one that you are referring to was put there by 4x4s, and it's an informational sign. I can't recall what was on it. Lee actually had found it in the grass out there, and I don't know how long it has been knocked down. I think quite some time, actually. So I'll forward the picture from Lee as well in regard to that.
All right, thank you very much.
Thank you. Further, is there any more discussion? Yes, Stu. I believe the blue sign with the 4x4 post is still laying out there in the grass. Lee could not cart it back himself. I'm going to ask John Wagner to replace the posts and cut them as directed by FAA. I'm guessing someone knocked it down. I don't know who. And the other sign is at the city garage. They replaced the screen that had gotten cracked on it, and they're hanging on to it until I got those couplings.
Okay, yeah, the only guy
emailed
that
me.
runs things over out there is the lawnmower man. So,
Oh, really? Yep, we've had this
Yeah,
multiple times.
yes. They did pay for it out of their budget to have the sign repaired, and he emailed me on Thursday to tell me that it's ready to install. So, anywho, the next one is airport access. There were some people who were being flagrant with Dale when he asked them not to walk their dog and use the airport as a walking track. And unfortunately, the people called the police, and the police said that without a city ordinance, they have no way to enforce the FAA regulations. And so I'm working with city administration to further discuss that. I understand that the PD can only enforce what we have here at the city. So it's just kind of a little loophole that we've got to close up. And I assured OSPD Chief Logan that I will do anything to help her help us. And so I'm discussing that with the city administrator to further identify how we're going to enforce that and get it into ordinance. Also that perhaps we need additional signage, even though it says unauthorized personnel or authorized personnel only, no skateboarders, no bicycles. I'm going to have to further elaborate and say no pedestrians and dog walking. So I just wanted to let you guys know that that's coming down the track. And I know that Dale and several other people who are from the city or here on the airport that utilize the airport have tried to reiterate to pedestrians to not utilize that for recreational purposes, yet they are. And I think that we further need to analyze Washington Department Fish and Wildlife access at the airport. Whether that has to come from another area of the city, I'm not sure. But I just wanted to let you guys know that I am aware that it is a problem, and I am working diligently to address that issue.
Okay, thanks, Sarah.
thank you.
Update on budgets. I was away at the end of last week. I don't have reports, but I can send out reports on budgets. We are pretty underspent on our budgets. We haven't had to do a lot with the airport as far as the general fund. We are not operating on a grant right now. So we came in under on our grant for the environmental assessment. We will not overexpend that budget in any way. Match has been met. That was not a concern. We have an upcoming budget of $212,634 for the design, but work has not begun on that. In fact, the grant was just signed and approved at council this last week. So we'll begin work on that shortly. So there's no update on the AIP budget. Now we do have 2 awards from FAA from the CARES Act. One will help cover the costs of that CATEX, which was approved from the city administrator to be able to do so. I don't have the authority to, spend $10,000 of the city's money. There are some parameters surrounding that The $20,000 has a lot more leniency than the $9,000 budget in which we were awarded. We have 4 years to expend those funds, and the $9,000 grant cannot be used for any sort of development unless it is in the pandemic. Otherwise, it can be used for maintenance, wages, and sanitary measures as far as battling the pandemic. So we may buy some more hand sanitizer or something, but aside from that, I imagine we'll hang on to it for ongoing maintenance as needed.
You said there's 2 awards there that cares?
Yes, there was the $20,000 award that it came in last year, and that will help support that CapEx cost because we do not have that in the general fund. In no way, shape, or form did I ever imagine that hangar development was going to cost the city $10,000 out of pocket.
Really? Okay.
And that is because of regulations imposed on us by FAA. And then the second was $9,000. Now, there's no match associated for either of those. So we're in a good position. We did not have any match for the $212,000 upcoming project, and we do not have any match required on either 2 of those CARES Act grants. I imagine that also some of that $9,000 maintenance cost may help support the cost of operating the camera. We do have a camera that has been installed on the pilot's lounge now. I forwarded the link out to the committee. Right now it is the live feed, but it is anticipated that it will be put on its own server to help support the snapshot. And I really can't describe all of the IP measures to you. I'm not very familiar with all of it, but right now, from my understanding, it is a live feed, and that takes up a lot of room on our server. What we need to do is change it over to the same kind of camera that the beach cam is on the other side. And what happens is I believe it's every 30 seconds takes a snapshot, and then it stores that, and then in another 30 seconds or measure of time, it will take another snapshot. So there will be a slight delay, but it will not take up as much space within our system by doing that. And it will still provide pilots an actual view of the weather.
Yeah, the only comment is since Little Windsock having it be live gives you some idea of the wind variation in real time.
Yes, but this will only be, I believe, a 30-second delay.
That's quite a bit.
So
I don't know. Bill, what do you think?
Well, less better. I think 30 seconds I can live with. I find that very, very valuable, that camera. I flew out 2 weeks ago Sunday, and the weather was down pretty low. We were coming out anyway. My son-in-law was doing some training, and we started approaching the Hoquiam, and I pulled up the camera, and oh yeah, we'll be able to get into Ocean Shore. So whereas without that camera, it would have been, I don't know, we'll have to wait till we finish the approach and see what happens. So
Yes.
it's very good. It's all weather reporting I need. It tells me everything I need to know by looking at the camera feed and the, like you say, I get wind direction, speed, I get visibility, I get not quite a ceiling, I can tell it's clear, but I can certainly see all the way across the bay to the other side, and if I can see the top of the hills over there, I know I've got 500 feet. So
Yeah, I was impressed by the vertical angle. It looks pretty decent.
It's perfectly pointed. It works wonderful. So
Yeah.
I really, really appreciate having that. So.
good. Well, and I'll be anxiously awaiting being able to get that out to the public. I'm just awaiting. Please go ahead to do so. It helps that Lee knows what he's doing in the pilot, so I think he understands the importance of it.
Yeah.
Okay. That's something that I have on budgets.
Well, that's good
And
news.
I know,
Oh, go ahead. I'm sorry.
yeah, we're in a pretty good position.
Well, that's good. So am I out now on maintenance update or?
Yes.
Okay, so I've been doing my usual mowing and weed whacking, and I was out there, I don't know, 6 weeks ago or so, and I actually went out and swept the driveway up there, got all gravel off that, and cleaned up the parking lot some, and I've been mowing both sides of the fence, around the parking lot, the electrical building, and we fertilized. Dale and I put some money in the kitty, and we fertilized around the hangars. Our goal is to get the grass thick enough to choke out the sandburrs, and we're having limited success with that, but it does work some. So lighting's all good. I think we have a good week. We could get out there and paint. I don't know what everybody's schedule is. I'll be in town on Wednesday, and I was thinking either Thursday morning or Friday morning we could finish painting the center stripe if somebody's there to help. So we can probably handle that with emails after the meeting, or if people want to volunteer right now, that would be fine.
Yeah, I'm out of town this week. Next week would be okay.
Okay. So, I try to find a weather window where it's going to dry the paint quickly, so we don't have the runway closed for very long. And all
I see
those things.
Stewart's available.
Oh, yes. Okay. Well, that's good. I can't hear or see anything as Stewart. So,
I should be available too.
all right. Well, I'll reach out to both you guys tomorrow, and we'll get a schedule then.
Okay.
Sarah, why don't you stop your screen share so we can see each other better? Perfect. Thank you.
There you go. I only see John. But
Bill, what are you looking at, your cell phone?
no, I'm looking at my iPad.
Swipe. Oh, well, just no, there's a thing in the corner that looks like a TV with 3 dots beneath it. Just touch that and you'll go to gallery, left-hand upper corner.
Yeah, I don't
Did it
see
work?
it. Oh, wait a minute. There we go. All right, I got everything now.
paint.
Do we have paint? Yes, Stuart, we have paint. I need to get it shaken at the hardware store, but that can be done, so. Thanks for
Bill.
the technical
ahead.
there, John.
Bill, what's the status of on-hand supplies for lights?
We're well stocked on everything at this point. I worked with Sarah here a few months ago, and she got us extra bulbs, and there's plenty of taxiway reflectors, and I believe there's one new windsock which I want to change out this week. The one that's out there is plenty faded, so it's time to put a new one up. So
Okay, well, that's excellent.
I keep Sarah on top of what we have and what we need. She gets it ordered in a timely manner. So
I'm trying. Let me know if we need another windsock.
yeah, I believe we have one new one in there, and after I put it up, I'll have you order a couple more. So
Okay.
Okay, well, Bill, thank you to you, Stuart, or to Dale for your recent efforts, and I appreciate all your mowing. Are you getting cost recovery at least for fuel?
on the mowing, well, there's a donation box out there on the airport, and I kind of use some of that money to buy my gas with. So
Okay, well, that sounds reasonable.
yeah, I've been using my own money for fertilizer, but I don't think the city fertilizes anything. So let's not go there. Let's not go there.
Let's not. Okay. So, all right, anything else on maintenance? Okay.
Not that
Anything stuff?
seems-
Is our beacon and everything all right still?
Yeah, all that's working. So
Okay. Did we have any, this is not, no, I'll ask the question later. Let's go ahead and go to item 4 then, Sarah, committee vacancies.
Well, essentially, as I've been saying, the mayor does not want me to be the secretary of this committee. And right now, we've been supported by recording our Zoom calls. But when we return to in-person meetings, we need to have someone be the assigned chair and the assigned secretary. So I know that sometimes the planning commission rotates those duties, and perhaps so it doesn't fall on one person. Maybe that's something we could consider. We're talking about quarterly meetings, so it's essentially only 4 times a year.
Let me ask a loaded question. Do we have to go back to in-person, or can we stay with Zoom? I don't know how the rest of the group feels, but
We could further discuss that if we hold a special meeting next month in regard to the Airport Appreciation Day. I know that we tend to do that as we near the event. I'd like to further discuss that with Sarah and see what the other committees are doing.
all right.
personally, I don't like a Zoom meeting. I like an in-person meeting.
Okay. I'm kind of six of one, half a dozen. Sometimes Zoom is really good when you're out of town and stuff. Are you home, Bill? Or,
Well, right now I'm sitting in my office at my gas station. Yeah, so I'm in
Okay.
Bellevue.
Yeah.
But I could have been there for an in-person meeting.
sure, understand. Okay, let's talk about the chair, and you're going to get further information. Well, you already said committees rotate. That's probably up to us how we handle it.
Yes, sir.
Is someone willing to take the chairmanship? Dale or Stuart or Ted?
Pregnant silence.
Yeah, I'm hearing.
I have an announcement if everybody wants to listen.
Okay.
I'm moving, so I'll be leaving Ocean Shores in the next couple months.
Dale, Dale is hanger too. So perhaps we should maybe table this, and this could fall in. This could fall
Hey,
into the
Stuart.
next item.
I think Stuart's trying to
We-
say something. We just can't hear him. Is he saying that he wants to be chair? Is that it?
That's right. That's what I heard.
Yeah, Stuart makes a good chair. I second that motion.
Chad's leaving the room. No.
No, we're moving to Hoodsport. So.
Oh, are you?
All
Did
right.
you sell
well,
your
I think
hanger?
Well, I got a whole nother airport up there, Sanderson. I got Shelton Airport. I can go down there.
Sanderson's all right. Yeah, it's a good field to fly in and out of.
I'm gone too much, yep. Well, then we need to, if Dale's going to be moving on, we need to round up another committee member.
Yes.
I think you ought to talk to the guy who bought my hanger. He seems like a real nice guy and he's real aviation oriented. So
Yeah, I floated that balloon past him, and I won't say that he shot it down, but he gave it a definite maybe. Okay.
Hmm.
So,
Oh, maybe he's thinking about it.
well, he's busy. He's busy moving out of the Puyallup area to be in Ocean Shore, so
Yeah,
his
he
plate
is.
is pretty full right now.
yeah, he's busy moving. I know that.
Yeah.
But I think he'd be a good committee member down the road. And that's what
Well, if we can't get a volunteer for a chair, can we get a volunteer for a secretary? Chad?
I notice your picture of you, Ted, keeps getting smaller and smaller.
Well,
fading.
That's right.
Well, Stuart is out there for both of them. He can't answer back, so we can just motion.
You have a great smile, Stuart.
Oh, he's
enough,
going
Stuart.
sideways.
That's enough. This is being recorded, so.
Or is it an audio?
Oh, we got a thumbs up on that one.
Yeah,
I
I
think
thought
we're audio.
All right, well, I don't know, Sarah, what do we do? Do we table this for a while and let everybody think
Yes,
about
and
it?
the reason why is I'd like to delve into the next topic, which is Patrick Wellburn. He has put in his, this kind of wraps into the next one. I'm going to share my screen again. Patrick Wellburn is one of the gentlemen interested in developing a hangar and is moving forward with a developer and engineer. This is his information, and I thought perhaps I could further discuss it with Dwayne Bartel, who is the purchaser of Bill's hangar. And so maybe if we make the recommendation for Patrick Wellburn, either we need to move on to the mayor, she will ultimately have that decision, and then we could bring him on, potentially the new owner of hangar number 3, and then I have another gentleman who is very seriously inquiring about developing another hangar. So we do have some potential membership on the horizon. For those of you who can't see this, it says, please consider this email to be my letter expressing interest in becoming an airport committee member. My wife Sally and I have lived in Ocean Shores since 1997 in a house here that I finished building by myself in 1998. I have had a student pilot license for 10 years and I've logged 124 hours as a pilot in training, have solo, and I have paid $25,000 to certified flight instructors and various other GA entities. I have considered many aspects of flying over the years with particular interest in safety, that is safe airplanes and safe maintenance and safe use of airports. I am at this time interested in buying an ultralight aircraft, particularly a cold firefly, and would like, just a second, and would like to build a hangar for it here, or if that is unworkable by a 20-foot for the off-air transport and storage. As you know, Sarah, I'm working with you to develop a plan for me to build a hangar on the lot at the Ocean Shores Airport and in the process of developing building specifications. Would you please forward this email to the mayor for her consideration? Thank you. Patrick Wellburn, Ocean Shores. So
That came in when? February? I think the date on it was
Yes.
February 22nd that you replied to him.
Yes.
Well, hopefully he's still interested. So,
well, I'm working with them, but we haven't had a meeting since then, so.
Let me ask about the hangar specifications. I guess I just blanketly assumed that box hangars in a row there on Duck Lake would all be the same design outside-wise. Do we have any control over that?
No, they can build within the parameters set forth in the ALP, which means that they have a maximum air, they have and that would be a separate discussion than what we're talking about now, this item on the agenda. But on the ALP, it defines a 50 by 50, a 40 by 40, and then the maximum height.
Okay, all right, then, so we're only considering this letter from the standpoint of interest in the committee. Is that correct, Sarah?
Well, the mayor is going to ask us, I have forwarded this on to the mayor anyways, but the mayor is going to ask what the committee recommends.
well, I'd like to meet him.
Yes.
He was at our meeting. He's come to our meeting in February.
Okay, all right. Stuart has a yes. So,
There's no motion on the table.
oh, all right. Well, I'll make a motion that we accept him as an airport committee member.
I'll second.
Okay, Stuart, we got a second.
Okay, any discussion on that motion? Okay, we've had a motion that we accept Patrick Wellburn as a member of the committee. Yay, let me show your hands or something, psych faces.
Aye.
Yay, it's unanimous.
All right.
No nays.
I will move the recommendation onto the mayor along with his letter of interest.
Can you email the committee members his contact information?
I sure can. I believe I have, but in the past, but I will make sure I do so now.
All right.
Okay. So we're going to basically put on hold the assigned secretary and chair, and we'll try to work something out in the meantime. Let's go ahead, Sarah, to number 5.
Number 9, which is actually 2021 Airport Appreciation Day, scheduled for August 28th between 11 a.m. and 3 p.m. I've asked the attendees, the participants, to come in at 10 a.m. to set up. We need to assign duties and logistics in regard to that. As far as someone being there, I will be coming from out of town, so I imagine I will be there by 10 a.m., but somebody needs to be there to ensure that we open the gate. And the logistics as far as just, how I have sent information in regard to who I have made contact with thus far. Let me see here. I'm going to show. Can you guys still see my screen?
No.
Okay. Well, this is a lot of mumbo jumbo anyway in regards to the email that I sent on June 15th. But I made contact with the radio station. They have said that they confirmed attendance. The fire department has confirmed attendance. They are trying to make contact with Lifeflight, Coast Guard, and they will and anticipate bringing down a vehicle. I made contact with the Beach Boys Car Club. They've confirmed to be in attendance. And the VFW was going to do concessions, but they cannot do so. So we do not have concessions at this point. We do have the historic photos for display in the Pilot's Lounge that I still have down there in a box that we created last year. Potentially, we need someone to open the airport at 10 a.m. Someone to contact the RC Flame Club, which I believe Stu did, and they said that they were going to. Yes, they said yes. Thank you. Is the RC Flying Club and the EA Club separate?
Yes.
Yes.
Does someone have contact information for the Experimental Aircraft Club?
You
I
don't?
think I will reach out to Kurt Bailey on that.
I can't hear you, John.
I'm sorry, I muted myself earlier. Okay, I'm a member of the AA. Kurt Begley is not a member of the AA.
Okay.
He's a member of the Ham Group. Yeah,
And we need to
I'll
keep the
contact
HAM group at a different location than the radio group.
okay, and that's for what reason?
Well, I just
Just
don't want to
audio?
interfere with you. Yeah.
Okay,
I think the stereo was rather close to you guys in 2019, so I just thought as a courtesy, we try and space you guys out.
okay. Has anyone contacted the Ham Group, or should I do that?
No,
I'll do
sir,
that.
nobody has yet.
Okay, I'll contact the AA Group and the Ham Group.
I am working on the special event permit and the median signage that we have purchased and updated. Stu, will you be able to update the event sign for our fence? I can't recall if it needs to be updated. You may have amended it so that we did not need to do so. And I will bring the PA system. Okay, thank you.
John, how
And-
strong is the EAA group right now?
How strong?
Yeah,
There was about 15 members at the last Zoom meeting.
all right.
I don't. They're also preparing a Airport Appreciation Day at Hoquiam, but I don't have the date. Ted, do you know what it is?
No, I don't. I don't have the date either.
I hand scratched it on a piece of paper somewhere, but God knows where that went.
Well, Dale, I'm certainly sad to see you leave the city. It was a pleasure having you. Since this may be one of your last Airport Appreciation Days here at the city, did you potentially want to bring your Humvee down and show it off?
We'll be gone by then.
You're gonna be gone by then.
Okay.
So I'll be leaving like the first 2 weeks of August.
Okay.
Well, thank you for being a part of us, Dale, and thank you for your diligence down at the airport and communicating with me on a regular basis about what was going on down there and all of your help that you've provided on maintenance and everything. We've just appreciated having you.
Well, I just helped Bill get his stuff done. I was the motivator.
And that's all I have today, gentlemen.
Okay, you're out of
Maybe
town, sir, until 15. Okay.
When do you leave? Are you out of town now? All right.
What was that for? Was that
He leaves the
7/29?
29th of July.
Okay, that's what I thought. To 8:15, huh? Okay. Okay, is there anything else? Oh, it's 6/29?
Yes.
Okay.
Next
My only other recommendation would be that we hold this meeting next month and then one more in August before the actual event.
Do you have dates that you already looked at? Tilted a bit, Stuart.
Can't quite read that, Stuart.
A little closer, Stuart.
Local or small business set aside for tree removal?
Okay.
I don't follow the question.
I think he's referring to ensuring that we're providing business for the obstruction removal to businesses, small businesses, and local in the area. Unfortunately, with procurement, we can't show favor with federal funds. But we do with minority or women-owned businesses. I know what Stu's been, what tree Stu's been barking up for the last 3 years.
Sarah, do you have a suggested date for the special meetings?
No,
So
sir,
we
I
have
do
that.
not, but I can look at our calendar and send something out. If you
I think that'd be a good idea to get that. Yeah, that'd be great to do that for us as soon as possible.
Yes, I would say, I'm busy this afternoon, but I think about tomorrow of potential dates. Just out of curiosity, does Mondays work for everyone?
Yeah, Monday's fine with Bill.
Yeah, it's
Okay.
good with John
And Ted,
and Stuart.
Okay, then, the last 3 Mondays, I'll send out an invite and include the last 3 Mondays, which are like the 12th, 19th, or 26th of July.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't see that, but is there any other business?
Okay.
I have nothing else.
Okay, someone like to make a motion to adjourn? I'll make that motion. We adjourn.
I'll second it.
Bill
All in
seconded.
favor?
All in favor?
Bye.
Meeting's adjourned.
Meeting's
Okay,
adjourned.
thank
Thank
you
you,
all.
gentlemen. Thank you, Sarah.
All right.
I'll be in touch.
All right.
All right.
Bye.
Thank you all.
Bye, John.